sure a lot of us would agree, but MMA is the greatest sport in the world. And I've watched a lot of other sports, but there is something truly spectacular about MMA. The unlikeliest of things can happen in an instant. Like, it's not like in basketball, someone doesn't just score on Michael Jordan, shock the crowd, and then the game's over. No, the game still goes on. A win or a loss in MMA can happen in the blink of an eye. And we have just tons of instances of just massive upsets because of this element in our sport. So let's take a look at what I think is probably the biggest ever example of that. I'm Joe with the INC, and today we are going to be taking a look at UFC 69. The shootout. UFC 69 took place in H-Town, Houston, Texas, in front of an attendance of 15,269, raking in a live gate of over 2,817,000. A pay-per-view sold 400,000 buys at this point, and remember, this is pre-mainstream media blow up for the UFC, and one of the biggest stars ever is in the main event. So, two big things of note on the prelims. Tough 2 finalist Luke Kumo blasted Tough 3 finalist Josh Haynes in the second round with a big right hand that left Haynes trying to go for a nice low single on the ref. Former boxer and bona fide boy material Marcus Davis got a painful Achilles lock over Pete Spratt after, weirdly enough, out-wrestling and out-grappling him the whole fight. Now for the main card. Opening up, we got Kendall Grove and Alan Belcher having a middleweight fight. And every retro review, I always have that guy. Always have that guy you gotta look up and watch his whole career. I recommend Belcher for this one. Just crazy career, finisher his whole career basically, and just outright of a delight to watch with one of the worst tattoos ever, but whatever. I recommend Yoshihiro Akiyama and Husumar Paul Harris fights for him. The latter just for being satisfying, trust me. And round 1, good mix of everything. Belcher gets an early takedown, but Kendall Grove gets back to the feet, lands great knees in the clinch, and the momentum is just all his way. He's using his range to keep Belcher out, and in the clinches, he's clearly the stronger man, able to stop a lot of takedown attempts. Round 2, a little bit of a pickup in the action. Knees and length are just too much for Belcher. Failed takedown attempt, Grove ends up on top, bloodies Belcher, and they get back to the feet. Belcher just can't get his striking going. Grove's taking full advantage with body kick and a straight right after, and that stuns Belcher. Big swarm of elbows and knees in the clinch. Grove is pressing for this finish. He gets a big takedown, gets side control, then gets half guard, and from here in half guard, he's able to use his long arms to cinch in a Darce choke that puts Belcher out cold. Fun fight, honestly, but not a great fight. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a good mixing of striking, grappling, and clinching. And normally I would expect a crazier fight out of these two, but it is what it is. It's really good, especially in round 2. The next fight up, Mike Quick Swick, the hometown hero, taking on Yushin Okami. And this is another middleweight fight. First round, pretty slow, honestly. A lot of feeling out on the feet. Swick's trying to find timing for a high kick or a flying knee. Okami is just content to just throw out a kick, maybe a jab here and there. And eventually he gets the clinch, takes the fight to the floor, controls Swick, but about 30 seconds left, he goes for a Kimura, then a straight armbar. Neither one were too close to finishing it, but I like the attempt at least. Second round, more of the same. Mike Swick tries to put on some pressure, gets taken down again. Stalls until about 30 seconds left when Yamasaki stands him back up. This time, Swick just lets it all out. Big shots go in, big shots land. Okami's hurt. He goes for a shot at the legs, gets stuffed, and he nearly was finished as the bell rings for the round to end. Round 3, and we open up the exact same way. Just a lot of feeling out, but Swick is trying to time a left hand over the southpaw right hand of Okami, set up a straight right. And actually it works. Swick hurts Okami again. Okami survives and gets on top, and now he's actually doing something on the ground. He gets mount, and just for a long time just lands shot after shot after shot. These punches don't have much power or zing to them. They're just kind of arm punches to score points and do a little bit of damage, but they're consistent. With a minute left, Swick rolls on top, but he is just too tired to take advantage, and Okami wins by decision. That last round was good. But outside of the final moments of round 2, I'm just not feeling this fight. I'm going to go and give it a generous 6 out of 10. Leonard Garcia versus Roger Huerta at lightweight is next. And both names may ring a bell. Leonard Garcia is known for having the worst awkward arm punches that come from the state over as he winds up, and Roger Huerta is known for being very handsome and being in an awful Tekken movie.
You know what you are? This is Iron Fist!
That being said, jokes aside, this fight is awesome. Plus, it's two Mexicans fighting, which, being half Mexican myself and identifying as Mexican, I have a soft spot for fellow Latinos fighting on the big stage. First round, chaotic mess. Both dudes throwing punches, Huerta throwing some nice kicks in there and mixing in a great takedown or two. Garcia tries to snatch the neck to defend the takedowns, but it's just unsuccessful each time. He's getting dumped on his back and pounded on. But he does always get back up, and it just felt like there never was a moment both dudes weren't throwing a strike or working on a submission. Insane pace. Even now in 2022, this is a crazy pace. Second round, wow, it just not stopping, is it? Wow, okay, calm down, guys. Oh my god, Garcia just has the ugliest striking I've ever seen, and I'm entertained. This is unheard of. But Huerta is really just teeing off on him on the feet on the ground. Third round, starting to slow down, but, you know, it's still got a good pace to it. Huerta gets the fight to the floor early and is out grappling Garcia early, but Garcia does manage to reverse and take the back. This doesn't last very long. Huerta flips Garcia off and just smashes him for the remainder of the fight, giving him a unanimous decision victory. How does no one talk about this fight anymore? Like, this fight is amazing. A superb 9 out of 10 for me, with the only downside being, honestly, Leonard Garcia's striking is awful. At least in terms of technique, and I'm a big technique guy. Fun fact though, this fight was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, making it the first time two fighters would ever be on the Sports Illustrated. Kind of a fun little trivia question there. Go stump a friend with that. In our co-main event of the evening, we have a rematch from Tough 1 between Diego Sanchez, pre-running away from Joshua Fabia with a knife, versus the winner of the worst haircut in MMA history, Josh Koscheck. Both dudes were streaking at welterweight, so honestly, time for both dudes to cross paths once again. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this fight is awful. First round, nothing happens. Maybe some like random strikes here and there, but they're just like there to kind of be there. Second round, oh my god, the second round, nothing. Diego just circles and circles and circles. I feel like I was reading a Junji Ito horror book, just spiraling out of control. I guess Koscheck follows him. Sometimes he'll throw a kick. Sometimes it's a right hand. That's it. That's the round. And you know what? I'm not even going to break down the third round. I'm not even going to do this. Everything I said up until now about this, it happened in the third round. Literally. Bad fight. Let's not waste any time on this. It's a 2 out of 10 fight for me. It's not the worst fight ever. If someone's going to torture me with MMA fights, they're going to show me 3 fights. Carla Rose won, Ngannou Lewis, and Conor Aldo. This one wouldn't be one of them, but that doesn't mean it doesn't suck. And to be fair, Diego did have a Hep C scare and a really bad staph infection coming into this fight. It's time for our main event of the evening. George Rush St-Pierre, easily my pick for the greatest fighter ever. Obviously in MMA history, that makes him the greatest welterweight ever. And he's taking on Tough 4 winner Matt Serra, who got the title fight after winning the reality show per the rules of that particular season. And as an added bonus, we get Randy the Natural Couture showing up to commentary, which is fantastic, as literally in just the previous pay-per-view, he won the World Heavyweight title. You can watch the retro review of that too. I mean, that'd be super cool if you would watch it since it's awesome. If you've already watched it, watch it again, please. You know. Out the gate, this is a monumental task for Serra, and he doesn't seem shaken up by it at all. Long lead kicks from St-Pierre, and Serra's doing a good job defending. And then whenever he is getting inside, he's exploiting this high guard of GSP to land the right hand of the floating ribs instead of just throwing bombs upstairs. Genius play. Constant right hands to the body, and whenever Serra engages behind the jab, he's now landing some kicks, but he's also really good at just starting to sneak these body shots more, maybe even think about the head. It's great stuff. Honestly, good tactics so far. With 2 minutes left in the round, Serra goes up top and it lands perfectly behind the ear, which wobbles St-Pierre. He gets the mat momentarily, gets up, hurt once again. Serra drops him once more, gets him out instantly, and just pounds away. The ref stops it as GSP goes to tap the strikes. This is the biggest upset of all time. Ever. I don't care what sport. It's this. Matt Serra is your new UFC welterweight champion of the world. We all know I grade these fights on like entertainment and like significance and history because, you know, I base it basically on how bad you should hunt it down if you've never seen it before. So this is an easy 10 out of 10. This is effing history here. The greatest fighter ever. He just got the welterweight belt for the first time. Everyone's expecting him to go on this crazy run, and he loses it in his first title defense to someone who was considered a journeyman before this fight. An insane finish, an incredible moment that'll just, oh my, just live forever. And my final thoughts. In this fight card had some good fights, some bad fights. Overall, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because honestly, you can just watch the Huerta Garcia fight in the main event. Call it a day. You've got everything worth watching. And I just can't stress how insane this upset is. This upset, I don't care. 20 times bigger than Nunes losing to Pena. What makes this fight even more potentially important is this isn't just, you know, a loss for GSP. This is his last ever loss. This is the fight that made him the greatest ever. After this, he got back up on that horse, developed the best jab in MMA history because he had like 47 jabs. Like, he had 47 different kinds of jabs, it felt like. And he, you know, added the wrestling to his game. He was already a good wrestler, but now he became even better. And he became the best wrestler we've ever seen in the sport. I don't care. It's just an unbelievably dominant title reign with so many names that he beats, like, so many big names and good, legitimate fighters. And what's it's crazy too is Matt Serra was a journeyman, and honestly, the most recent thing he's done. I mean, he retired years ago, and he was a fun fighter. But it's funny because I feel like a lot of people nowadays, if you didn't watch back then, you just know him for nearly beating up Joshua Fabia in a cafe. That's it for me though. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As I love seeing all these comments. Honestly, I love seeing the comments. I always interact with you guys. If you know, you'll see my like little YouTube thing. I don't have a profile picture yet, but I always go and interact with you guys. I love interacting with the fans on this. And if you really miss me and you want to see me make some ridiculously obscure references, then check me out on the second channel, INC Live, where I recap every UFC event after it happens. I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you for watching.